Irish people love their Triton showers, so it may come as surprising that we're asking you to get out of the shower! Naturally, being a Triton shower, you won't want to, and so we're gently reminding you to save water by taking the Triton 5-minute challenge. So, towels at the ready? You'll feel as good when you get out of the shower as you did when you were in it. Triton, for a cleaner conscience.
After the opening 3 rounds of the Triton Showers National Rally Championship, 3 points is all that separates the series' top 2 drivers, Josh Moffett and Callum Devine. It was level pegging heading into the last round in Cavan, with reigning champion Moffett pulling out all the stops on Cavan Stages Rally's final test to clinch a 1.8 second win and a 3-point championship lead. Kevin Eves was another to steal victory on Cavan's Tough But finale. He grabbed the 2-wheel drive win from a faultless Daniel McKenna, who had controlled Class 14 for most of the day. Eves was 5.7 seconds quicker than McKenna through Cavan's final stage, taking modified honours by just 0.1 of a second. In the juniors, Jack McKenna and Damien Doherty secured their 3rd win in 3 rounds to strengthen their grasp on the Class 16 title.
Welcome to Waterford for round 4 of the Triton Showers National Rally Championship, the Ravens Rock Rally. 3 fast committed stages will be repeated 3 times all around the Waterford area.
The 2023 Triton Showers National Rally Championship returned south to the Waterford-based Ravens Rock Rally last weekend with another sellout entry list. After winning the Donegal International Rally a couple of weeks earlier, Callum Devine and Noel O'Sullivan had opted to skip the South Coast event. Devine's omission played into the hands of Josh Moffett and Keith Moriarty, who knew it was the perfect chance to gain a foothold in their national title defence. And another fan favourite missing from this year's Ravens Rock Rally was, of course, local hero Craig Breen, who sadly passed away 3 months ago while testing for the Croatia Rally. Breen was in everyone's thoughts as they headed for Waterford last weekend, and none more so than his 2 friends Mike Chen and Sean Hassett. The World Rally Championship commentator had teamed up with Breen's PR guru to compete on the 2019 Tarmac Champions home event. Of course, Breen would have approved of their choice of car, a suitably liveried Skoda Fabia provided by Andrew Fanning. The livery was flooded with Craig's finest quotes, which he, along with his unrivalled skill behind the wheel of a rally car, made him Ireland's rallying superstar during his years of competition.
Just ask you all across the weekend to remember Craig and to do it with a smile on your face, because that's what he would want, isn't it? And he was just, yeah, a great man. I was, as you said, very lucky to call him a friend of mine, and we wanted to do something to pay tribute, to bring him to the rally as best as we could. And this newspaper article behind us is what we came up with, you know, and listen, anybody is very welcome all weekend to come and take pictures of it and to come and say hello and share stories. And remember Craig, that's what we want to do, and hopefully this is just the first step of, you know, keeping Craig with us, because as James said, he'll be remembered forever, and that's up to us to keep his memory alive.
Josh Moffett and Keith Moriarty attacked Ravens Rock's Ardbeg opener in a fresh-faced Hyundai i20 Rally 2, usually driven by Josh's brother Sam. Perhaps an early hint that Moffat's time with his older R5 model is drawing to a close. Moffett reached the end of the stage, admitting it would take him a while to get up to speed with the car, whose only similarity was the badge resting on the front bumper. Still, Moffett was fast, 2.6 seconds quicker than any of his rivals on the opener. Seated 23rd, Cal McCarthy and Eric Callan shook up the leaderboard with a mighty drive through Ravens Rock's first stage. The West Cork driver was on a high after finishing 3 days of the Donegal International Rally, bringing that seat time to Waterford right on the pace. McCarthy was fastest on the French Marx Invasion, 2.6 seconds down on Moffett and 1 second up on Declan Boyle in third. Paul Barrett in the Triton Showers C3 was 4th fastest through the opener. Eddie Doherty and Tom Murphy survived an early scare on Ardbeg's slippery opener to set the modified's benchmark time. Last month's Laois Heartlands rally winner was 0.6 ahead of a pair of fire-breathing escorts from Kerry. Rob Duggan and Conor Murphy set the exact same time as a 2-wheel drive race yet again tempted us with another competitive battle. Frank and Lauren Kelly have been in fine form recently too. They joined the Ford Escort 4A in Ravens Rock, just 1 second behind Duggan and Murphy's Escort Duel. Extending their lead at the front to 7.4 seconds, Josh Moffett and Keith Moriarty continued to find their feet in the Rally 2 Hyundai. They were fastest through Kirkmore, even though Moffett couldn't yet commit to fast corners that had become second nature to him in his own R5. Cal McCarthy kept up his pacey performance with his second runner-up time on the bounce. He had extended his lead over Declan Boyle to 4.9. Daniel Cronin climbed 2 places to 4th overall, despite feeling rusty in his first rally in 3 months. Cronin and Donncha Burke were 3.1 seconds behind Boyle. Paul Barrett lost his rhythm through Kirkmore's flat-out sections and paid the price for lifting his foot off the throttle. He was only a handful of seconds slower than his Rally 2 rivals, but plummeted down the leaderboard from 4th to 8th, 2.6 seconds behind James Ford and Neil Shanks. With no spare wheels left, David Guest opted for a cautious approach to stage 2, dropping back to 5th. Michael Boyle and Dermot McCafferty were flying through Curragmore until they caught Seamus Leonard's sickly Fiesta with a few kilometres to go. Leonard's Fiesta had lost power and hadn't spotted Boyle's Polo behind. Somehow Boyle still managed to set the 3rd fastest time, which pushed him up to 6th. Eddie Doherty blitzed his Mark II rivals on stage 2 to gain a 6-second advantage in the 2-wheel drive race. Frank Kelly was the one closest to his tail as Conor Murphy overshot a junction to stem his efforts. Murphy was still in contention though, less than a second behind Rob Duggan. Duggan's Escort was locking its brakes, but the Kerryman was hoping he could get the issue resolved as he now sat 1.8 behind second place Kelly.
We're at the end of stage 3 here, 2 stages down. Stage 3 isn't running this time. Josh Moffett is in the lead over Cal McCarthy by 7.4 seconds. We're going to grab a word with some of the crews.
Yeah, look, so far so good. Unfortunately that stage was cancelled there, so hopefully we get a run of it the next time. But yeah, look at the new car and we're just trying to bed in.
You're happy overall and confident for the next stages?
Yeah, look, I think every stage will just help me along. So yeah, so far so good.
Good, yeah. I thought it was quite slippy in the first 2, but time seems to be there. Don't think we're really pushing that hard. It just seems to be comfortable. So maybe Josh should take it easy.
No, nice stages now. Just get in the rhythm. Car's working well. Good navigator. What more do you want?
We had a really good run through the first stage. Probably was tricky enough. We were probably smooth and probably kept it clean. It's probably why we had such a good time. And then probably in the second one, I probably backed off a little bit in the middle. I didn't really get my rhythm into it. But look, we're happy enough for competitive today, which is a good step forward from where we have been. But look, hopefully we can keep going out into the afternoon.
Eddie, local man here today, leading the 2-wheel drive. How's it going?
Yeah, enjoying it. I'm really sickened that one was cancelled because it was so fast and I would have suited the car against the R5 cars. But no, look, it's a long day yet and looking forward to the rest of it.
We take a quick break now, as without these advertisers, this show wouldn't be possible. After stage 3 was cancelled, Cal McCarthy started Ravens Rock's second loop with the perfect statement of intent. His first ever fastest time in the Triton Showers National Rally Championship cut Moffett's lead to 6.5 seconds and kept the pressure on the Hyundai man. Declan Boyle and Paddy McCrudden were now 9.7 seconds behind McCarthy, with Daniel Cronin less than 3 seconds further back in 4th. In fact, Boyle's list of challengers had increased as James Ford set the 3rd fastest time, just 1.5 seconds down on McCarthy's benchmark, to move within half a second of Cronin. After his first loop brake problems, Rob Duggan was forced to bed his brake changes in on stage 4. It didn't stop him from setting his first fastest 2-wheel drive time of the day though, 0.1 of a second faster than Frank Kelly, who was 1.7 seconds ahead. They all closed the gap to early modified leader Eddie Doherty, whose lead was now down to 4.7. Ravensrock's race for victory took its first serious turn on stage 5, the second pass of Curraghmore. Unfortunately for Cal McCarthy and Eric Calden, their fantastic run in second overall came to an end when their Citroen C3 ran out of road on the 13-kilometre test. Josh Moffett and Keith Moriarty picked up their third fastest time of the day, 5.2 seconds quicker than Declan Boyle through the committed stage, lined with Ireland's typically overgrown summertime verges. After McCarthy's demise, Moffett now held a comfortable 21.4 seconds over Boyle as he became more settled in the Rally 2 Hyundai. Daniel Cronin was set to inherit the final podium position on stage 5 until James Ford pipped him by 2.3 seconds on the rapid roads north of Waterford. The Lancashire man knew he was on for his best finish in Ireland to date as he held third with 4 stages to go, 1.7 seconds ahead of Cronin's Polo War 5. Michael Boyle was keeping the pressure on in the fight for third as well. He repeated his cracking Curraghmore effort to set the third fastest time, 1.5 seconds slower than his dad. 3.1 seconds covered Ford in third to Boyle Jr. in fifth overall. Josh Moffett set the pace on Ravensrock's sixth stage, further extending his lead over Declan Boyle, who was happy with his own performance in second position. It was a profitable middle loop for Boyle, who inherited second from McCarthy and built a 10-second advantage over his nearest rivals. James Ford and Neil Shanks' combination with their new Citroen C3 Rally 2 were proving to be a tough nut for Daniel Cronin and Michael Boyle to crack. 7 seconds separated the trio of crews, going for third with 3 stages left to go. Paul Barrett held 6th overall, but his position was coming under threat from the hard-charging modifieds who were locked in their own battle behind. Eddie Doherty and Rob Duggan had leapt ahead of David Guest on the Ballydaw test. Guest felt he was driving okay, leaving him wondering where he was oozing time to the Rally 2 front-runners. Rob Duggan seemed to unlock some potential on stage 6, powering to the fastest modified time, 2.7 seconds faster than Eddie Doherty, who is now less than 4 seconds behind. It's not often Duggan can be matched, let alone bettered, in a Mark II Escort, but the Kerryman had his hands full in his efforts to catch Doherty. Frank Kelly had been at his best in Ravensrock. Baby Blue held second in two-wheel drive going into stage 6, despite this overshoot on stage 5. Unfortunately for Frank and Lauren, a puncture in the final loop ruined their chances of a good result. Before we join the final loop, let's take a look at the class winners. Jack Brennan and Jonathan McGrath had a start-to-finish win in Class 1 in their Ashgrove Transport Renault Clio. They held a 1-minute 3-second lead over the Civic of the Mullins brothers, with Gavin Shield and Ken Blanche a further 7.5 seconds back. The positions remained the same over the second and third loops, with Brennan and McGrath extending their lead each loop to eventually take a class win by over 3 minutes. Shield and Blanche closed the gap to 6.2 seconds to the second place Mullins brothers. In Class 2, Matthew Boyle and Gary Byrne in their Gracie's Bar Fiesta led by a slender 2.7 seconds after the opening loop from Ryan McHugh. And only another 1.4 seconds further back was Keelan Grogan. Ryan McHugh set a fastest time on stage 4 to close in on Matthew Boyle, with Keelan Grogan dropping time on stage 4. Boyle responded with a fastest time on stage 5, extending his lead to 2.1 seconds over McHugh. On stage 5 though, it was Ryan McHugh who was fastest from Cian Caldwell. McHugh now only 1.2 seconds behind leader Matthew Boyle with 3 stages to go. And it was McHugh again who blitzed the opposition on stage 7, taking the class lead from Cian Caldwell, with Matthew Boyle back to third, frustratingly losing time catching a car on the stage. Boyle wanted the lead back, and with the fastest time on special stage 8, he closed in on Caldwell and McHugh. A thrilling 3-way final stage showdown was on the cards, but unfortunately with a stage blockage, positions remained the same, giving the hard-fought class win to Ryan McHugh and Declan Boyle. Class 3 was initially led by Paul Cloke and Liam Hewlett in the Honda Civic, with Emmett Lyons and Tommy Cudahy over 52 seconds back in second. Cloke extended their lead to over 1 minute and 48 after the second loop. However, he'd retire on the last loop, leaving Emmett Lyons and Tommy Cudahy to take the class win by 1 minute and 16 seconds. Another class win for Thomas O'Rourke and Thomas Scallon in the Evo 9. James Boland taking second in his Rally 3 Fiesta. from Brian O'Keefe. In Class 9, Kevin Flanagan in his Mini won by 2 minutes from Kenny O'Brien and James Kelly in their Nova. In Class 10, Sam Leach and Barry Attridge took a convincing class victory. Then to Class 11F, James Bradley and David Doyle led from stage 1 right until the end, but unfortunately mechanical issues on the final road section robbed them of the class victory, handing a class win to Des Lyons and Aisling McCardle, with Sam Johnson second and the hard-charging Philip McDonald just 0.7 off. Class 11R was led all day by Craig Rahal and Connor Smith, finishing an incredible 20th overall and taking the class victory by 45 seconds from Michael Cahill and Paul Crosby in third. Class 12 was all about the race between Niall Fitzpatrick and Ryan McCardle, swapping fastest times throughout the day. McCardle had an overshoot on stage 5, dropping time, with Niall Fitzpatrick eventually taking victory by 20 seconds. To Class 13, and John Warren and Ruth Ann O'Connor in their Michael Corolla, while nursing some brake issues during the day, led from start to finish from Tim Flood and Anthony Smith in second. Eamon Murphy and Noel Cody took Class 15 in their Evo. In Class 16, 3 weeks, 3 rallies and 3 junior wins for Jack McKenna and Damien Doherty in the junior category. They extend their national championship lead. In Class 17, Ken Tracy and Michael Walsh took the win in their Mini. Adrian Evans and Martin Henry led Class 18 from start to finish, taking the class victory from Phil Rogers, with Paul McDevitt in third, taking maximum Triton Showers national championship points. Thomas and Uric Davies took Class 19 victory. In Class 20, Michael Carbon and Dean O'Sullivan led all day from Conor McCarthy, with the visiting Michael Chen taking third in class after some mechanical issues.
6 stages down here, and Josh Moffett has a comfortable lead of 27 seconds, followed by Declan Boyle and James Ford.
Yeah, nice enough, like we're starting to get into it. Yeah, happy out.
What's the big changes in the car? You've got 6 stages done now compared to your own car.
Yeah, just the feel of it going through the really fast stuff. It's I've done that many rallies in my own car. It's just second nature. Everything, you know. Even the very first junction this morning, they came up to it, went to pull the handbrake, and I was like, "Oh, that's not where my handbrake normally is," sort of thing. So it's just getting a feeling for everything. So yeah, it's all good.
It's all coming together. Yes, happy with the car here now. Just another couple of wee small tweaks, but anyway, it's definitely going the right direction. I think we're getting the times.
In the modifieds, Rob Duggan closes in on Eddie Doherty.
No, I really enjoyed that one now. I think Rob took 2.5 hours, but really enjoyed it now.
Just getting into the swing of it now, trying to get the thrust back in the brake pedal, but that's definitely better now, and looking forward to the next loop.
James Ford's day got even better on stage 7 when he stopped the clock fastest through Ardbeg. He was still third overall, and the 7.1 second deficit to Declan Boyle's similar Citroen C3 looked like a possible quest over Ravens Rock's last 2 stages. Declan Boyle quashed Ford's attempted charge on the penultimate stage, increasing his second place margin to 8.9 seconds despite stalling towards the end of the 13-kilometre test. Once again, Michael Boyle showed his liking of the Curragmore test, setting the second fastest time to take 4.6 seconds out of Ford. Boyle leapfrogged Daniel Cronin to move into 4th, less than 8 seconds behind Ford in 3rd. Could he make it a Boyle double on the Ravens Rock podium? Eddie Doherty continued his two-wheel drive supremacy, holding a 9.2 second lead with just a stage to go. It had been the best of days for the local Kilkenny driver, a smooth sailing through Ravens Rock's finale, and he'd clinch an impressive modified win over the top competition in Rob Duggan, Conor Murphy and Chris Armstrong. Conor Murphy was now Doherty's nearest challenger. He set the fastest two-wheel drive time on stage 8 to move 0.4 of a second ahead of Duggan. There's always one last unexpected and often gutting twist on the final stage of any rally. This time it fell on Ravens Rock's two-wheel drive race. Eddie Doherty and Tom Murphy could have tasted the champagne of success on their local Triton Showers National Rally Championship round, but they were showered in bad luck instead when their tyre exploded with a handful of corners to go. They did well to keep their Mark II out of the scenery on this right-hander, but it wasn't enough to hold on to what would have been a well-deserved modified victory. Doherty had to settle for third in the two-wheel drive race, still managing a 9th overall finish. Conor Murphy and Rob Duggan's battle for fastest Kerryman had turned out to be even more pertinent. Murphy held a slender advantage coming into the longest stage of the day, but it wasn't enough to keep an inspired Duggan behind. The 2015 Billy Coleman Award winner set a supreme time on the final stage to snatch the two-wheel drive victory, and 7th overall by 4.3 seconds from 8th overall Conor Murphy.
The whole last loop there, we've just been trying to bring it home in one piece, but unfortunately he crossed the finish line, but he had a puncture. We pushed him across the line, so yeah, it was going to be a tight race between me and Conor then. We were just waiting for his time, and luckily enough we got the win today.
A back on form Chris Armstrong took 10th overall. Paul Barrett and Kevin Riley were on the cusp of a top 5 finish, but just fell adrift of the trio in front, who were fighting for Ravens Rock's podium. Michael Boyle and Daniel Cronin were unable to overturn James Ford's podium advantage, with the pair of polos finishing 4th and 5th respectively. James Ford and Neil Shanks were close to claiming Ravens Rock's Power Stage win, narrowly missing out to Josh Moffett's benchmark by just 1 second. Still, the final stage attack more than halved their deficit to Declan Boyle.
James, 3rd overall today, how are you feeling?
Yeah, ecstatic, it's really good. New car, everything's slowly getting together now, so yeah, it's a really good rally, So I'm glad we came and just had a bit of a run out, it's been great. So yeah, it's annoying that we didn't go a bit harder on the first loop, but new car and all that, so yeah, it was good, but yeah, really enjoyed it.
But it was Declan Boyle and Paddy McCrudden's runner-up finish. Boyle's best result in 15 months, giving him great encouragement as he continues to gel with the Citroen C3.
Declan, how are you feeling after a strong day of racing?
Not bad, to be fair. We've been building on it through Donegal with this Citroen, and we had problems with the suspension, and just trying to get it right and trying to get it right to suit me. But to be fair, Johnny Crozier and his daughter there, Clarice, done a great job, and the car's handling really well there now. So it's just a pity I hadn't got that for Donegal. It might have been a few steps closer.
Out in front and in a class all of their own, Josh Moffett and Keith Moriarty were having a ball in a Hyundai i20. Moffett had clearly figured out how to slide his brother's car like his own R5. Moffett's 3rd national victory in a row puts him in a brilliant position at the front of the championship, and the Ravens Rock Rally win will be the perfect remedy for Donegal disappointments a few weeks ago.
Josh, another win here, now you're leading the championship halfway through. How are you feeling?
Yeah, certainly. It's going good so far. I suppose 4 rounds in and we've got 3 of them now, so waiting to hear. Hopefully we've got the last stage point there as well, but I'm not sure if we have, but I think that's all going to kind of come the end of the year. But yeah, look, at an excellent day, and in fairness to the club here, they ran a great event.
Moffett now holds a 5-point advantage with drop scores at the halfway point of the season. Moffett's winning margin in Ravens Rock was 42 seconds, a win that turned out to be his 42nd career victory. An amazing coincidence considering the number ran in the World Rally Championship by Craig Breen, the man in everybody's thoughts on Sunday. We hope you enjoyed our show. Be sure to hit subscribe, and we look forward to round 5 of the Triton Showers National Rally Championship in 2 weeks' time, the Sligo Stages Rally.
Irish people love their Triton showers, so it may come as surprising that we're asking you to get out of the shower! Naturally, being a Triton shower, you won't want to. And so we're gently reminding you to save water by taking the Triton 5-minute challenge. So, towels at the ready? You'll feel as good when you get out of the shower as you did when you were in it. Triton, for a cleaner conscience.